You are listening to Where is the Line? The stories you will hear will be depraved, disturbing, and true. If you are easily unsettled, you may find this program offensive. And if you are under the age of 18, fuck off.
Hey, fine now.
Robin, come on! Robin, kid! Come on!
Yeah.
Thank you, huh? You Robin, kid? Oh, motherfucker!
Everybody drinking blood, everybody eating brains. Some monster party. Everybody eating flesh, everybody breaking bones. It's some monster party.
Thank you for listening to episode 34 of Where is the Line? My name is Kevin, and with me today is somebody new. One of those Utah nurses who isn't in Utah anymore, but still you will always be one of the Utah nurses to me, Jaden. Thanks for being here, Jaden.
I am so happy to be here. You have no idea.
I don't know why.
Well, I've been a big fan of the show ever since I first heard it. Even though it was it was probably last year. I was so happy to have so many episodes to binge, and I got to go through all of them, and now here I am talking to you, so nothing could have gone any better for me.
Well, thank you. I was super excited. We had the hangout night, and you and Katie Manzioni.
Yes.
But yeah, you guys were like in the full PPE and everything, enjoying the Zoom call. I was super excited about it.
We were super excited to be there. I actually didn't even know that was happening until I came back from answering a call out with a patient. And Katie goes, "Hey, come here, look, I've got someone on the phone that wants to say hi." I come over and there you guys were. I was like, oh my God. So it was just as crazy for me.
So I'm sure, or I want to know, I would imagine everybody else would too. You know, I mentioned that you were one of the Utah nurses, but you've since moved to California. How have things been in nursing? I mean, where you were, did things get really bad before you left?
From where I was before, we were a nursing facility that was transformed into a COVID unit. So it was just us and our 2 floors and our rooms we had with our staff on board. And they said, you're going to take the same demographic of patients. So normal people we would normally see before that just have COVID. And this is how it's going to be. And then we kind of just dove into it head first, not really knowing what was going on. And there's a lot of good things I could say, but it definitely was an experience and a half. That's for sure. Working nights, and they required you do 4 12-hour shifts a week, so 4 on and 4 off. So doing mandatory overtime at night with COVID. I don't think I would take the experience back, but I don't know if I would do it again.
How was it when you left? Was it still really busy like that when you left, or was there kind of a peak and then it dipped?
So it actually went through a couple of peaks. So we opened up, and then it was pretty low census. So we had only a few patients for a little while. And then whatever was happening in the community or within the area actually heavily infected our influx of patients. So if there was a holiday, like the 4th of July, for example, I had a feeling like, okay, everyone's going to go out for the 4th of July. It's been a few months since everyone went into quarantine. So exactly what happened in Utah is everyone went out, and even though you can be safe and use your distance, but no matter what, if you leave your home, you're going to have an influx of cases. So directly impacted by that, we got a huge wave. Like they were sending us like 4 or 5 patients in the day, and then at night, after midnight, we were getting 4, 5, 6 admits all at a time. They were just bringing a van full of patients, and they just bring them in, and we just take them into the rooms, and we'd fill up. It would be crazy. It'd be busy. As far as how bad it would get, the job itself stayed the same as far as like what I was doing, like clinically, like day to day, like whether it be like helping change a patient or hanging a new bag of whatever. It was the same, but it just was the way it was done was changed. Everything took longer. I definitely did see an increase in deaths. From all the experience from places I've worked. If you're in a hospital, depending on where you're at, like normally you're not going to see many deaths, but in like a nursing home facility, you're going to see people getting older and passing away. But as far as COVID went, it would find kind of whatever underlying ailment these people had, and it would just speed it up. So a lot of people were passing from natural causes, but it was a lot faster than we were used to seeing, or even slower. But most of the time, it was expected, but it was quick. So it was a lot as far as deceased patients turning over. But then on the other side of the same page, we had a lot of people that you wouldn't expect to get over it, would totally beat it, and they would go home. They'd be fine. I had patients in their 90s that would get over it and go home to their spouse. We had 2 couples that went home with their spouse. So it was kind of a coin toss.
I should mention, Jaden's co-hosting today because Ashley's having some family issues, so she's going to be out for this episode and maybe one more, and then hopefully we'll have her back. But I'd like to thank Jaden very much for helping out with this, because I tried to do this on my own, and it's just fucking weird to sit here and just talk out loud to yourself, especially when you crack a joke. And there's nobody to laugh. And most of my jokes are like or not jokes, but whenever I say something that I think is funny, it's usually self-deprecating. And if there's nobody around to laugh, I just sound like this
he's just this guy talking
guy.
shit to himself out loud in his apartment.
Yeah, just like a depressed,
well, that's kind of what
guy.
I do, but that's the difference between being a comedian and being alone. But on that note, I'm super happy to be here. No problem at all. And I hope everything's okay with Ashley. I'm super excited to hear from her when she comes back. I hope everything goes well, whatever she's dealing with. I hope it's okay.
I know that she herself is okay, because she did drive her car by my house a couple of days ago and yell something at me out the window.
I hope it was a slur. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Normally I would ask the co-host to say something disturbing at this point, but you don't even know what this episode is going to be about.
I don't. I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, does he just put Ashley on the spot? or does she know what's going on? And then I was like, no, she usually knows what's happening, but I have no idea.
Yeah, this episode is actually a good one. I mean, if Ashley has to miss one, this is a good one, because I had already recorded this conversation that I had with a local legend and expert at 911 calls, which you will hear about later.
Nice.
But yeah, that conversation's already been recorded, so I just needed some help with the intro and the outro. Before we get started, speaking of the episode, which we should probably get to, for you, the listener, this has probably only been a couple of minutes, but Jaden has been listening to me ramble for probably half an hour now, and we haven't even got through the intro.
Oh, I've rambled as well.
We should definitely get to the episode at some point, but before we do that, we've got a few patrons to mention. At our nefarious level, which is the level at which someone is allowed to send us a pornographic film that we will watch and tape ourselves reacting to. We've had one vomit incident resultant from that when Samantha was on the show. Yeah, that video that was sent to us featured someone eating Fruit Loops out of someone else's artificially enlarged butthole, and Samantha, it was the bubbles in the milk that got her.
Those bubbles made her go, nope.
Yeah, she literally vomited. So these nefarious patrons, let's see what you got. Those nefarious patrons are, by the way, Brayton Hevelin and Dennis Calvert. Dennis Calvert, by the way, got in touch with me, emailed me. He's a photographer, a really fucking good photographer. Anyway, got in touch with me and asked if he could take my photograph.
Oh, nice.
I'm usually really not at all excited about being photographed, but usually it's, my mom telling me to smile for like 3 straight minutes while she figures out how to make the
turn the
camera
shutter
do
on.
the flash. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of photo are you
like,
going for? Headshot, professional model, a nude photo?
Yeah, I'm assuming that this photo shoot with Dennis is going to be a nude photo shoot. He didn't explicitly say that, but I feel like it was implied. So I'm gonna show up nude, Dennis.
That's why
just
you
let me know
enthusiastically said yes.
what time. Yeah, where to be. I would prefer if the photo shoot did not take place in a strip mall or somewhere like that. If we could keep it private, that'd be great.
Like somewhere woodsy.
And that, again, reminded me of the fact that we have not yet set a disturbing phrase to which people will honk their horn. And since Jaden has not heard the conversation, which is the bulk of the episode, I'll just let you know today's phrase will be 6 inches.
Oh.
Maybe 10 inches.
Oh, wow.
Some measure of length between 4 and 10 inches. When you hear a length between 4 and 10 inches being discussed on this episode of Where's the Line? Honk Your Horn. I had that conversation with him a few days ago. I forgot how many inches it actually was. Pretty sure it's 6, though. I'm not going to tell you why. Talking about my nude photo shoot reminded me of that. But
I was going to say, what brought up that photo shoot and the inches conversation again?
No, I remembered now. It was actually 13 inches. So you ready to get you ready to get in to this episode of Where's the Line?
Let's do it.
I'm supposed to say let's do it.
Oh shit, that's true. See, I've listened to too many episodes. I'm used to just trying to steal it.
God damn it.
Damn. Okay, I'll be quiet. Okay, you go.
All right, say let's do it again.
Let's do it.
All right. Today, we'll be talking with a local legend and someone who I count among my very best friends, Mike. Mike has on 2 separate occasions been the victim of an armed robbery, though victim might not be the appropriate term for these encounters because on both occasions, Mike disarmed his attackers before kicking both of their respective asses. One of these times, he did it with the phone that he used to call 911 when he spotted the gunman. As a result of that, we have a fantastic 911 call to play for you later, in which our guest today can be heard beating up a gunman with the phone that he used to call 911. All the while, tones and beeps can be heard as the phone's buttons are being depressed against the attacker's face. On this episode of Where's the Line, Mike will share with us several stories of violence within which he was an active participant, and we'll take a listen to that aforementioned 911 call. We're talking to Mike because he's someone who has been held up at gunpoint twice, and on both occasions managed to beat up the gunman. And on one of those occasions, we got the entire incident captured on a 911 call. So, how you doing, Mike?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Those are a long time ago, though. I'm a different man now. Less prone to being robbed.
You're less prone to being robbed. I would imagine so. So, before we get into those, the 2 times that you got held up at gunpoint, we've known each other for a while, and you've got some good confrontation stories. And one of my favorites is about a time that someone pulled their vehicle over and got into a rock fight with you and some friends. And
that's right.
That vehicle, by the way, was not a regular automobile. What happened was you and some friends managed to piss off a train conductor to the point that he stopped the train and got out.
That's right.
So how'd you manage that?
Well, so I don't know exactly what was being said. I've obviously got sort of a hearing problem, but we used to, in Tuscaloosa, we lived in Alberta City, at least 2 of us. There were 3 of us together, and we were walking the tracks. You'd always walk the tracks. It's better, nobody messes with you. It's straight shot. Don't have any vehicles or whatever. But there was a train coming, we got off the tracks. I guess he thought we took our time getting off, but we let him pass us. But he started saying something. I couldn't really hear him, but I know John just sort of like screamed "fuck you" or something at him. And I was like, okay, all right, he's fucking with us, I guess. I wasn't really sure because I didn't know what he said, so I just picked up some rocks and started chucking them up there. And then he managed to stop the train, and he got out. We're standing about 30, yards away. We weren't like close, and we had no intention of going over there and getting in it with the guy. But he started throwing rocks at us, and we started throwing rocks at him. So he had a 3 versus 1. I got to give it to that conductor, I guess he's called, or engineer. He was he was willing to go 3-on-1. I mean, it was wrong of me to throw the rock, but I thought somebody was fucking with me, and he shouldn't have. But I'll take that one. That probably shouldn't have happened. But it's a colorful memory. No one really got hurt. I didn't get hit with the rock. Nathan was pretty sure he pegged that guy once or twice, and Nathan's a good shot, so I believe it.
So there's a lot of these types of stories that we could get into with you, but we're talking to you specifically about how you've handled a couple of encounters with gunmen. And one of those, you were working in a kitchen.
Yeah, there's a little restaurant I ran. Okay, so it was late at night. This was definitely in 2005, October or November. And I guess there had been a group of individuals that had knocked off took out some laundry place and maybe some gas station over by the hospital. So it's like a known sort of thing that they were hitting it. And you could tell who they were because their thing is it already been an article about it. They'd wear t-shirts around their head instead of like masks or face masks. They'd have like these black t-shirts, and it would block everything up with their eyes, And so anyway, I wasn't even wearing that until after the fact.
These were people who had been going around robbing things previously.
They'd already hit 2 places, for sure, that verified the same sort of MO, because most people don't wear black shirts around their head when they knock over a place. That's very specific. So they might have been different people. They all of a sudden they all got the fad of wearing black t-shirts. But yeah, that kind of broke that up. We're about to close, and the guy that was working with me, I'd always like cook, make a sandwich or feed him at some point during the shift, and he had really been working all night, and so I hadn't fed him yet. So the lights were on, everything. We're still open because it's technically not quite 10 yet, or 9, or whatever time it was that night. And I look up, and there's a gun in my face, and there's a guy with the black t-shirt over his head, said, "Give me the money, give me," or something like that, So I don't know what's going on, but I know there's a gun in my face, and I didn't really have time to even think about anything except I just dropped the mayonnaise thing. I grabbed his wrist with the gun, and my hands were pretty fast because I've been juggling, almost manically in my time on the restaurant.
That's not really the activity that I think people would expect, when you're talking about your reflexes against the gunman.
I think it's maybe not, but I credit it. My hands were fast at catching things in midair with great speed. My reflexes were probably top of my
from my judo classes or something, not from my juggling. I'd been
never took any classes. Nope. Hacky sack maybe helped me with my footwork too.
But, all right, so you get a gun in your face and your juggling reflexes kick in.
Yep. Absolutely. So I just grabbed his wrist, and I didn't handle it. In retrospect, there were a lot of things I should have done differently. But after that, I was gonna I started wrestling with him, and I've got his like right hand in my left hand, and I'm bigger than him, stronger than him, by somewhat, significant. I'd say significant. He wouldn't stand a chance in a real fight. But so I basically just sort of like start pushing him over, and I was going to flop him over on the grill, which had been cut off for 30, 45 minutes. It wouldn't have really burned him, but figured that way I'd have his left arm to myself and I could get the gun loose. Well, he was real smart because at first he ducked his body down, so I couldn't push him over the grill. Like now his hips were underneath, the grease trap part of it, and I couldn't. And then he jumped up and like sort of sat on the front part of the grill that's not hot or anything, and he was able to twist his hand. I didn't really see the gun, but I know what he was trying to shoot me in the head, I guess, and heard a click, and we both kind of like just stopped. I kind of thought like that was it, I thought, okay, that's it. You hear the click, that's the end of your life or whatever, it just, and thought about my daughter, I was like, poor girl, she wasn't even a year old then.
So
that she
you
wasn't
really
gonna
did.
do.
That really
I thought I
happened.
was gonna
So
die. Yeah, I thought that was it.
yeah.
Like that's the final mystery. What do you hear? You see it? No, you just hear the click, and that's the end of it. But it was a misfire. It was a fucking misfire. So I ended up realizing that me wrestling with this guy, not securing the gun, is like kind of fucking stupid. And what I really need to concentrate is getting control of the gun. So I basically like sort of sacrificed my body. Ended up like getting two hands on his right arm, sort of pulling him around and falling down to the floor on top of his arm so I could
Mm.
rip the gun out. So he's now on my back, and I knocked over the fan and the chair and the door set up, but I finally got him, got him around him, and I like kind of put him in a. Now I think at this point I had the gun in my right hand. I wasn't gonna do anything with it. I never aimed it at him or anything, but I was just like, I have the gun now, But I ended up putting him in like a rear like had my left arm around his neck and sort of took him down to the ground, and he's scrabbling and I think reaching for the gun, which I've got off to my side. My arms are a little longer, but he's putting two arms and all his muscles. So I'm like, I'll just throw the gun away, so then we can properly wrestle and there's no more, So I ended up like, don't want it to misfire. So I threw it and it went like,
Wait,
man,
so you're wrestling the gunman. You've wrestled him
right.
on the ground, and you have the gun in your hand, and you throw the gun away.
Yeah, that's right. I have him like sort of around his head with my left hand, and my right hand I throw the gun away, because I don't want him to get to it. And I didn't want it to misfire either, so I didn't want to throw it hard, because in my head it's like, oh, it'll just go bam, bam, bam if it like throw it. So I really just underdid it. I probably should have slid it or thrown it harder, but it went like 6, 8 inches. So now I don't have the gun, and he's still reaching for it. So
no.
At this point, I shifted and got him in like I don't know, they call it the full Nelson or whatever, where you kind of put pressure on him. And I remember he kept scrambling and he's still fighting to get out of there. I guess he ended up like pulling a display rack, like a 5 foot tall, 4 foot wide display rack of chips on top of us. While all this is going on, and I'm just like, stop struggling, or I'll stop choking you, and he just didn't. So I basically had put enough pressure so he just went limp. And I let him off, and I'm like, oh fuck! Now I'm just standing here. I was really shook up at the time, but he started moving around again, like he coming to, and I kind of put some pressure back on him when it knocked him back out because I was just so freaking nervous. I mean, he had just
Yeah.
tried to kill me, but that was to my discredit. I definitely knocked him out twice. And then the first cop that walks in, just a normal uniformed cop, walks in, laughs, and walks back out. Because he's looking down and like there's a guy with a t-shirt over his head in a full Nelson with like a load of potato chips and a rack laying on top of him on the ground. It was like, it was like the thing was pretty secure at that point.
I think a lot of people that if they had gotten the drop on that guy like you did and gotten the gun away from him, might have just shot him. Why didn't you shoot him?
Oh Jesus, I'm not gonna kill anybody.
I mean, I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that as in I would have killed him. I'm just saying,
right.
A lot of people would have.
Him.
What stopped you from doing it?
I mean, he was coming after money. I mean, I don't know. It just never occurred to me. I guess in my rational mind, I would say because, of course, I don't want to kill somebody. But in the spur of the moment, it's because I don't want to kill anybody. Like it's So I guess it's either way, whether I think it out or if it's just on the spot. I don't want to like cause anybody great harm or distress. Like I said, I feel bad about choking the guy out the second time.
So that brings us up to the main reason that we're talking to you is the other time that you were held up at gunpoint, which actually happened before the incident that we just talked about. So these aren't chronological, but I'm saving this one for last because it has what's maybe my favorite 911 recording of all time. So take us through that one.
All right, so there was a little tobacco shop, local, no beer, but convenience snack items, things like that. It's in Alberta City, and all the locals would use it. There's a lot of people that walk in 3 or 4 times a day. There's this one guy, he comes in one morning, and I recognize him. He'd come in every once in a while. He was a local kid, but he sort of sat down. They had this like bar stool I put out there to put drinks on while I stocked the freezer, and he just sat down in the store and he waited. Then he left and he came back and he was just acting kind of goofy, but I was like, whatever, I'm just not gonna give anybody a hard time. You want to hang out here, you can hang out here, I suppose. But then I guess at some point he walked up to the cash register, after 5 minutes of weirdness and leaving and coming back, and he basically told me, he was like, "This is a robbery," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, oh, give me the money or something." I'm thinking this guy's maybe joking. Maybe I'm like, dude, that's just fucking stupid. Shut up. You can't come here and just say it's a robbery. You gotta have a gun or something. And he actually pulled a gun out. He showed it to me. Like, I don't think he pulled it, but he like lifted up his waistband or like his shirt to show me that he had a gun. I'm like, fuck this. And I did one of the stupidest things I've ever done, I guess. I had to like walk like 20 feet around to get around the counter, and I walked over toward him. And he actually pulled the gun and pointed at me. And and I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, turn around, walk back
Wait,
around
why
the
did you
counter.
walk around the counter?
I was gonna kick his ass
in the first place. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so you walked around the counter to kick his ass, and then
he's showing me a gun, and then he actually pulls
okay.
it. Like, he'd already showed me he had one, but I was just, I don't know, it was really stupid. I admit that, But so then he points a gun at me, so I walk back around, and like I said, there's this sort of U-shaped counter I've got to get around, so I get back over there, and I called 911.
So you call 911, and you call 911 on, and I bring this up because it's going to be important in a minute.
Okay.
You called 911 on a cordless phone, right? One of those old 90s styles cordless phones?
Right, because, they right after the rotary, they finally had wireless tech. That was really good. This was 2003, but it was still, like, not everyone had cell phones and stuff. But this was a wireless one you could carry around the store with you or bring it over to the register and then put it back on the cradle to charge it. Yeah, it was standard stuff, back in the time for businesses, I guess.
And you sound a little nervous in the beginning of that.
Oh, yeah. I heard it.
Which
a
is understandable.
My voice. I had somebody pointed a gun at me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see you all the time. Just leave. Get out.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, hey, I got a problem. You need to send somebody down to the store right now.
What's the problem, sir?
Got a problem. Yeah, just come on down to Discount Tobacco.
What's the problem?
Got a guy with a gun in here. He said he's gonna rob me.
Say he's gonna rob you?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's he at?
Yeah, he's sitting in the store right now with a gun in his hand.
What's your name, sir?
It's Michael.
He starts leaving. Well, I take off running, because I didn't put a lot of thought into it. And I catch up to him right outside the front door in the parking lot and, like, grab him by his shoulder. Still got the cordless phone in my hand. And he tries to twist off, and it was pretty easy, little hip throw. Got right on top of him. And then started beating him with the phone. And cussing him. I've got a mouth on me.
In the 911 tape, you hear the buttons being pressed on the phone. And that is
making
the resultant of you hitting him in the face with the phone, right?
Right.
Correct.
Come on, motherfucker. You better get the fuck out right now. Fucking do it then.
Who's this? On this disturbance, 232, he's sitting there in this he's disputing with the clerk.
You gonna rob me? You gonna rob me? You gonna rob me? Got the gun? Got the gun, motherfucker? Rob me?
Hey, fine now.
Rob me, come on. Rob me, bitch. Come on.
Yeah.
What you do, huh? You gonna rob me, bitch? Oh, motherfucker.
The clerk is assaulting.
Yeah, I got you. I got you to the police company, bitch. No, I ain't making you up, motherfucker. This is a good idea, huh?
Recount tobacco.
Take the fucking money. Get your job, bitch. Oh, man. Yeah. You know. Get a job. Hello?
Yes, this is
Yeah, send him over. I got a cop. I got him over there right now. Come there, pull a gun on me, motherfucker. Walk around the cash register trying to get some money. Huh? What the fuck's the problem? You ain't even fucking brave enough to borrow some money. Pull a gun, you better use it.
Where's the gun, sir?
Fucking understand that? The fuck are you, stupid? God! Hold on.
Sir.
Just hold him, man. I'll fucking work. He's got a gun on him.
Sir.
Hey, the police are here. Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway, I have no ill will toward the guy. It was unfortunate. Oh, that's what I want to tell you about, though. So I talked to this guy, Frank, who's another customer, about the same age, as the guy who had, attempted the robbery. And he was saying that right before all that, they weren't sharing their weed with him because he didn't have any money or something. And
Mhm.
so he kind of, and that's when they knew he was going down there to, to rob the place. Because Frank did come in like 30 minutes, an hour later and asked me whatever happened to him. Like, I beat his ass and he went to jail. And he was like, laughed and walked out. I mean, Frank was a good kid. There was no animosity there. But apparently, here's the tip. Share your weed. You know, that man, he went in a mental institution because people wouldn't let him take a fucking hit off the blunt. Jesus Christ. You know, that's, I don't know. Not very neighborly.
So really, you blame the people who didn't share the blunt.
Well, I mean, he's probably going to fuck up sometime later, but I think, yes, that day, if they had just let him smoke some pot, he wouldn't have been down there robbing me because he would have been smoking pot. You know, it was like very
well,
chronological, you know, order. And then usually if you smoke pot, you're not like, I'm going to go rob a tobacco store, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah, not a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of violent potheads.
Yeah.
So if anyone listening has a gun pulled on them, what's your advice to that person?
I would say most people, you just want to give them the money. You don't want to get in a car with them or, you know, let them kidnap you. That's when you fight for your life. But I don't know. It's stupid. It's just everyone's got to have their boundaries, I suppose. I mean, I would say this. Yeah, if you're going to go out there and everybody's going to try to fight the armed robbers, there's going to be a lot of murders. And that's not good. You know, but, you know, so I'm not encouraging. I would say just give them the money. That's it. You know, but imagine, like, what if everyone did, you know, fight the armed robbers? They knew you couldn't just rob them. You're going to have to kill them. There would probably be less people, you know, robbing. If you knew there's a chance you're gonna get your ass beat every time you wanted to rob somebody with a gun, maybe you would find a different job, you know. No, but I think the lesson I would give to potential armed robbers, you know, one, don't do that. That's stupid. But two, if you can't take them, you know, without the gun, you really should pick a different target. You know, I mean, you know, those guys should have been robbing some sweet old lady or something. You know, why would you pick the 200-pound aggressive white guy?
Yeah, we're just gonna end this episode with Mike advocating to all the criminals out there: rob elderly women.
No, yeah, shit. I did say that. No, I didn't mean. Yeah, you know.
Yep, that's what you said. You said it's on tape now.
All right.
Mike Anonymous advocates robbing elderly women. Thanks for talking to us, Mike. It's been fun.
Hey, glad to get that PSA out there.
Thank you so much for listening to episode 34 of Where's the Line. If you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcasting app so you don't miss the next episode. Usually these episodes come out on the 1st and 13th of every month, but over this past month, it's been more like the 1st-ish and 13th-ish of every month. Also, if you enjoyed the show, you might consider leaving a review. Not unlike these fine persons. NYC Girl 36 writes, "Never stop. This has been my favorite podcast since I stumbled upon it via a mention in, I think, Hollywood Crime Scene." You don't have to think. I know it was Hollywood Crime Scene. Every probably 90% of our reviews mention Hollywood Crime Scene. Moving on with the review. I love everything about it. But wanted to give a special mention to my appreciation for the fact that you're able to discuss harrowing subject matter with humor that is never disrespectful or unkind. I'm glad she noticed that. Too many humorous podcasts still refuse to grow out of that tired old cliche of punching down. I absolutely agree with that. Too many podcasts do that. Look, they've got everything backwards. They'll get to the goriest part of the story and skip over it to spare you that. But then they'll just laugh their fucking asses off at victims and shit. I mean, what the fuck's that? You know?
Exactly. Like, honestly, most people, I mean, for me, I'm here to hear, like, the victim's stories, but I kind of want to know, like, the gory parts of what's been happening, because that's what the actual crime was. So I think it's good I love the way it's presented on the podcast. It's not made fun of, but it's done correctly, and it can be lighthearted sometimes, and the best parts aren't skipped over.
I don't know if I'd say it's done correctly.
To me, that's true. I forget, but to me.
Well, and actually, someone who we did a story about, who I'm not going to say their name, and who I'm trying to do a follow-up on, somebody who was the victim in one of our stories actually got in touch with me on Facebook and thanked me for not making them look like a dipshit. Wow, how long have I been reading this review now? Moving on with this review. Your episodes always shed new light on stories, even if I've heard them before, so shout out to your exhaustive research as well. Thank you for noticing that too. As a side note, I'd love to hear you cover John Thompson of tractor accident fame if you're open to suggestions for future episodes. That's ringing a bell, but it's not coming immediately to mind, which is a good sign, because if I already know the whole story, I really don't care to fucking look it up again.
Doesn't ring a bell to me, but if it's something to do with a tractor accident, I say it would probably be worth looking into.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up and see if I want to do that. Thanks for that suggestion. Again, we still have not finished with this review. Finishing this review now. Glad your last episode, in quotation marks, wasn't your last episode. Me too. Thanks for that review, NYC Girl 36. Hit all of those little buttons that just make me feel better about doing this, Moving on to the next review. This one comes from Stinky Luck. Stinky Luck writes, a different animal. This is a very unique podcast. There is a bit of everything, much of it gross and or hilarious. I was in hysterics laughing with my toes clenched with the last episode. Much love, another nurse.
Oh.
I'm happy that we're popular among nurses. Or not popular, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I would say popular. And the fact that the description of laughing with my toes clenched, I was going to say that accurately portrays to me like the equal parts disgust and like satisfaction.
Yeah, that's
kind of what comes out of this, like my curiosity for like the dark and disturbed or depraved comes out with this on top of the lightheartedness of the jokes. So I can definitely agree with that review.
Moving on to voicemail. This first one comes from somebody who, if I am reading Google Translate correctly, might be somebody you're familiar with.
Hi, Kevin and Ashley. It's Kate from Utah. Just wanted to say hi. I just finished listening to the Ouchie episodes, and they were awesome. Gosh, I just so want to come visit you guys. I don't know what my problem is. Shouldn't be stalking you quite this badly. Anyways, just want to say thank you for the great issue, and if you could just tell your listeners, of which Kevin doesn't think he has any, to wear your damn masks, please. I'm so tired of sick people at work. I want my life back. I've had it. Cases have skyrocketed, and it's just stupid. So if you have a single brain cell in your head, put your damn mask on. Kevin and Ashley, love you. Bye.
Thank you so much for that voicemail. I'm assuming that that's a sentiment that Jaden agrees with, and I also believe you know that person.
Well, Katie, hello. I miss you so much. It's so good to hear your voice. I definitely can tell you're at work by how you're sounding. Before I say anything else, just remember that you are a phenomenal nurse and you make a difference. But I definitely concur. Cases will definitely influx with holidays. Wear your masks. It's not that big of a deal. It definitely helps slow cases down. But totally just wear your mask. And if you don't want to wear your mask, just don't fucking go outside then.
This next voicemail is from another country.
Hi, I hope this is working. I'm calling from the UK. So I've never called the US before. So, this is Frey. I recently became a patron, and just started listening to the show after I saw it recommended on Reddit. I just finished listening to the, last episode about Sashi Ouchie. Very, very brutal stuff. Very well done. I knew what I was going to say when I rang, and then I was like, oh shit, I can't talk on phones. So I'm sorry that this is a bit nonsensical. But yeah, I wanted to say the show is great. I really like the rapport that you have as hosts, but also you have good information, and, research is clearly done. Keep up the good work. My favourite curse word, I don't know, I like bollocks. I hope you're all keeping well and safe. And yeah, look from the UK. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for that voicemail, Frey. I actually, just one day just randomly put on the Patreon page like a link to a Zoom meeting and was like, I don't know, if you guys want to hang out, I'm bored. And Frey was the only person that showed up. So me and Frey hung out on Zoom for quite a while one day. Had a really good conversation. Thanks for leaving that voicemail, Frey. And it was really good to talk to you that day. We're personal Facebook friends now, just like me and Jaden. So send me a message or something. We've got one more voicemail to get to today. We've actually kind of backed up on some voicemails, so we still got some more. So if you left this voicemail and you hadn't heard it yet, we're eventually going to get around to it, unless I forget. This next voicemail, I believe, is anonymous.
Just have to say, absolutely love your podcast. I have been binge listening while working from home, and the crazy, scary topics keep me entertained and motivated to keep going. And my favorite cuss word is fuck. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for that voicemail. I wish you'd have left your name so I could give you a shout out. If you hear this and you want to join the I Love Multiple Voicemails on the Where Is the Line voicemail box thing, call us back and let us know what your name is. If you'd like to leave a voicemail of your own, you can give us a call at 386-227-7848. I wonder if Jaden knows what that spells.
Of course I do. It spells dumb ass tit.
Dumbass tit. Again, that number is 386-227-7848. That spells out dumbass tit on your telephone. If you call that number, you'll hear a special message just for you by our very own Where Is the Line intro man. All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much, Jaden, for helping out with this.
Yeah, of course. Oh, thanks for reaching out anytime. I'm happy to be here. It's been fun.
Thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Kids, when you go to bed, stay away from your closets and don't look under